and welcome to this edition of Life with PB. I'm excited to be talking to you about these all important topics about relationships today. A while ago, I did a series on relationships and managing relationships, and someone sent me a message saying, what if you have a toxic relationship? How do you handle toxic relationships? And then not long after, another lady sent me another message along those lines. So I just thought, you know what, let's deal with the whole issue of toxic relationships and how to deal with them or how to identify them. Relationships are essential parts of life. We all must go into a relationship one way or the other with people, be it people at work or people that are your colleagues or family members or husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend relationship, or even neighbors. So you will always have people around you. And because you have people around you, you need to be able to identify if a relationship is productive or if it's toxic, if it's helping or if it's not helping. You need to be able to identify that and how to deal with such a relationship. So over the course of the next two series, I'll talk about how to identify a toxic relationship and what to do in order to get out of a toxic relationship, particularly if it's one that you can control. There are some a bit too late in the day, you can't control them. You just need to know what to do to manage such a relationship. So I just thought to start with this story first. There was once a particular beautiful lady. She loves the Lord, so we met in church. We had a relatively good relationship, but one thing was sure about her: she loves giving, helping. She's very hospitable, and she would come over to our home. She would give us a good meal. She would give us cakes and stuff like that, particularly carrot cake, because Pastor Eddie really loved it. That's my husband. And she would do all of those things, but there was something about her that was just a little bit, interesting, and that's the fact that she loves talking, and not just love talking, she loves talking about men of God, and she knows a lot of them, and then she kind of talks them down, and every so often when she's had this chat, when she said these things, you get to know things you didn't know before, and we started feeling uncomfortable in our spirits. I was thinking, oh gosh, this is awkward, this is wrong, I don't want to hear this about a man of God, and it's just interesting. So after a while, I started feeling unsettled in my spirit. My husband started feeling unsettled in his spirit, and we needed to handle that relationship or sever that relationship or let the person know that this is really not helpful. How did we deal with it and what came out of it? I'll tell you more about that with time. But how on earth do you know a toxic relationship? Well, let me start with the Bible and say that Abraham had one with Lot. Lot was his cousin. They were related. Or nephew. So he didn't have a choice. He had to have Lot around him. But Lot was not adding to Abraham. Abraham was trying to help Lot, but after a while there was a lot of conflict between them, and there was a lot of butting of heads, and eventually it led to Abraham really being very confused about what to do next, because his men were fighting with Lot's men, and there was a lot of division in the family. And that's part of what toxic relationships do. They create division, they create problems, they create challenges. So how on earth do we deal with such? But before you start talking about dealing with relationships like that, you have to talk about how do you identify you're in a toxic relationship. So let me just tell you 4 or 5 things to look out for in a relationship that makes you know whether you're in a toxic relationship or in a healthy relationship. The first one is lack of support. If you're in a relationship where the other party is constantly pulling you down, there is no support in any way, shape or form, maybe it's a very unhealthy relationship. Maybe it's a relationship where the other party wants to compete with you, tell you how well they are doing compared to how badly you're doing, or your children are doing, or your friendship is, or your career is. It's just not supportive. Maybe you've just said something good about yourself and the other person, yeah, me too, I am. Comparison and lack of support is something to look out for. It's a very mild but obvious, mild yet obvious way of knowing that you are not in a very healthy relationship. The second one that is always very obvious is toxic communication. How do you know you're in a toxic relationship? Toxic communication, just like the way I said about the lady I spoke about earlier, where the things that come out are not helpful. When you spend time with this person, how do you feel when you finish? What kind of communication come out? What words do you find yourself speaking? What words do you find yourself listening to? You see, words are very powerful. They can determine how you feel about people. They say words make people go to war. So that tells you if a toxic if toxic communication is coming out, you can almost tell that will be very, very unhelpful to you long term. It's amazing. The words are not kind, either about you or about other people. They are not of mutual respect about you or about other people. They are words that put other people down and or you down. Be very mindful of that. He says sometimes we think that, well, that person did not put me down, they just put other people down. If they put other people down where you are, they will put you down where other people are. If they put other people down where you are, they'll put you down where other people are. It's a matter of time, because habit is habit. So are the communications toxic? Is the communication unhelpful? Also, are you in a relationship where the behavior is controlling? Is the person controlling you? That's a very, very dangerous place to be. Controlling relationships happen when a person is asking you to do something. You are all the time wanting to dance to their tune, do things at their convenience, maybe in a friendship, maybe even it's in a marriage. It's in a controlling behavior. You know, many people think, oh, it's just love. No, it could be very, very dangerous. Is it showing jealousy or lack of trust, or just one way or the other, wanting to control who do you go out with, who do you hang out with, where do you spend your time, how do you do things? And if you're not doing things where they are, they start making a fuss about it. Maybe, just maybe, that is something to stop and consider and look into and say, something is wrong somewhere. Last but not the least is a dishonest friendship or relationship. You find yourself constantly making up lies in order to be able to find that relationship, to make sure that relationship work, or they're lying to make sure that your relationship with them work. That's a very, very unhealthy place to be. You're not meant to be in a place where you are dishonest to yourself or to anyone in order to please another person. I remember when my children were young, I used to tell them, if you lie to me, you are just telling me that I'm bigger than God to you. Nobody is big enough for you to lie to them. If you're so afraid that you have to start being dishonest in order to feel comfortable. That is totally unacceptable. Last but not the least, in the theme of things to look out for if you're in a toxic relationship, is lack of trust. If there's always pattern of disrespect, lack of trust and disrespect, you really need to look closely at that relationship. Do they disrespect you with the things they say? Sometimes, but it's just a joke. No, if it's a disrespectful one and it happens consistently, that's a very dangerous place to be, because it starts chipping at your self-esteem, and before you know it, you're on your way down in the way you look at yourself or you look at your world. So be very mindful of some of these things that I've mentioned today. The relationship you are in, is there disrespect in it? If there's disrespect, it is not helpful for you. Is there dishonesty either from you or from the other party, lack of trust? It is not good for you. Is there controlling behavior? Ask yourself, oh, he just loves me, but is it really he just loves me, or am I being controlled by this person? Are there toxic communication, words that are said that are not really, really helpful at all? What about the behavior? Are there controlling behaviors here? Are there things that are said that are, this is not right? Be very, very mindful. Toxic relationship is a relationship that is not allowing you grow. Ultimately, toxic relationship is a relationship that will never let you grow. You will never feel at peace in such. So you need to identify them and ask yourself this question: is it really a place where I'm growing, or is it a place that I'm fearfully just trying to watch where I tread and what I do? If you're in a toxic relationship, you need to learn how to manage it or come out of such. And I will be addressing that in the very next one of this series. But what I can tell you very clearly is this: relationships are fantastic, but you can never thrive in a toxic environment. Do not stay in a toxic setting. It is not going to increase you. If anything, it will keep on chipping at you until you lose the sense of who you are. That's not how God has made you to be. The best of you can come out in a great relationship, but if you're in a toxic one, the best of you will be covered, will be marred by the situations around you. So watch out for these things. All right, I really hope that has helped you. Just a few indications here and there. It could be more than that. But if you feel any of these things that you want to talk to somebody about it, feel free to reach out to me. You got all my details, and also you can reach me on my handles there. You can also reach me by sending a comment on this video. If you know a friend or a family member that is in a toxic relationship, please feel free to share this video with them as well. Or you think may be in a toxic relationship, share the video with them. Like, comment, share, and also reach out to me and give me feedback. Again, if you are in any of this type of relationship and you're looking for somebody to talk to, please feel free to reach out to me. The Lord bless you. It's BB here, and I loved chatting with you. I look forward to seeing you in the next series.